Okay, in this lesson, we're going to learn how to submit your map for evaluation. This can be a bit of a challenge for teachers, simply because students quite often forget to share things properly, and then you have to chase the students in order to get the map handed in properly. Once they've done it once or twice, they get the hang of it, and things go much smoother after the first time. So. Um, the first thing that they need to do is to create a group. So this is the best way to do things. I'm going to give credit to, our gallery. Um, I'm going to give credit to Jonathan Fletcher for coming up with this idea. It's a great one. So what the students would do is they would simply click on groups, and then they're going to create their own group. And it's going to be a group of one. So you can see I've got all these groups in here, and what they are is the students went in, they clicked on create a group. I told them to use their first initial and their last name. I've already got a group with A White, so I've got to create a different one here. And they can add their own special image, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Click on save. And what they want to do is add you as a teacher to the group. All right. So if they click on invite users and they type in your name, it should automatically appear here. Now, this is myself, so I'm just going to use Melanie for. And so she's a teacher, so I would just check her off and she would be a member of my group. So what you need to do is to create a group and add myself to it so that when you send me your map, I can take a look at it and see that you've correctly gone through those steps. So once they've created a group, they can go and work on their map. So let's just return to my map here. So they need to click on share. Oops, I guess I haven't saved this. I'm just going to call this one delete me because I already have this. So I'm going to click on share. And what you want to do is simply check off the name of your group that's shared with your teacher. And that way, only the teacher can see it. The other kids in the class will not be able to see it. What we discovered is we were just sharing it to the District School Board of Niagara. And then students would just simply go look for their students or other students who are doing the same thing and copy it. So this way it prevents that from happening. So you need to tell the students they need to copy this link here. All right, not the big long one up at the top here. Okay, so if you see this, it's more than likely not the right link. Now, sometimes when you're working with the software, they're working on a Chromebook and they can't quite click on done and okay and so on. It's simply because the screen is too small. And what they may have to do is click on these three little dots here and change the zoom to 80%. So if they're having some difficulty seeing part of their screen, that usually will resolve it. So click on here, change it to 80%. All right, so I've shared it and I've copied the link. What I need to do now is to go save again. If I don't save it again, then that little change that I did will not be kept, and it won't. The link won't work when it appears in the Dropbox. All right. So now we're going to go to the class that you have. Now there's a couple of options here. They could just simply at this point email you that link. You could have a Google document and have all the kids' names on it already, and they just paste the link onto that Google document. And that would work too, because remember, the only person who would be able to see every single one of those links would be the teacher. All right, so that could work also. But I use D2L, so what I do is I simply create an assignment, and I'm going to just call this one land use Dropbox. It's always a good idea to include the word Dropbox at the end, just so that it doesn't get confused with other, like the actual instructions for land use. And here's the key thing. They are not going to be submitting a file, but simply the link. So you need to change this so that it says a text submission. If you don't do that, then they can paste the link um, into the Dropbox, but then they're going to have to add a file, which is a pain. So it's much easier if you just simply go text submission. So now that I've got the Dropbox set up here, oops, what's going on here? Hide. And we'll save this. Oops. Save and close. Let's pretend to be a student here. So when the student now goes to the class website, they're going to simply click on assignments, go to the appropriate Dropbox. Let's say this was the appropriate Dropbox, and paste the link in there and click submit. All right, so don't forget you could have a shared Google document with your entire class, and they could paste the link in there. I'm sure there's an easy way with Google Classroom. Um, I would not recommend just simply having them share it to the group and then have you looking through all your groups because, as you can see from my group list, because I have multiple classes, I've just got tons and tons and tons of these groups, and it's hard to find it this way. I would heavily suggest that you create a Dropbox in D2L or have some other way to collect all of those links. So another thing that I typically do is I make a short little video explaining how to do this, and I post it in the Dropbox so that they remember how to properly share it, because you're going to tell kids over and over and over and over again, hey, guess what? You didn't share it properly. And they're going to be like, oh, how do I share it? Well, send them the link to your little video, and it saves you re-explaining things over and over and over again.